Good afternoon, Kinaway members, and welcome back to another episode of KinawayTV. We're coming to you from a different sort of time today, as we're really excited to be bringing you this webinar in the afternoon. Before we kick things off, I'd like to acknowledge the Bundjalung people as the traditional owners of the land on which I'm coming to you all from. I'd like to also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which each and every one of us are tuning in from, and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to also extend those respects to Indigenous peoples who are joining us this afternoon. I'd just like to also take a moment to remind our viewers of the support services currently available for Kinaway members. The first support package on offer, which is in collaboration with Kinaway member Claystone Marketing, is free access to Claystone's social media marketing course. The course provides an overview of social media marketing strategies and tools, which helps highlight marketing opportunities for Indigenous business. It's a great resource and is really helpful to businesses looking to solidify their online presence. In another collaborative effort, Kinaway is excited to partner with Boost Legal Templates, designed for small businesses. Boost Legal Templates gives you clarity, safety, and access to real quality legal templates. Just complete the friendly questionnaire and you will instantly receive your own legal template, which you can take pride in knowing it has been created specifically for your business. This collaboration will save member businesses time, money, and ensures businesses are on the go while implementing good business governance. Kinaway is proud to offer members a 25% discount across all Boost legal templates. So if you feel this is something you may be interested in, please contact the team here at Kinaway. Another support package we're looking to deliver is support for our member businesses around digital capability, whether it be website development, e-commerce capabilities, social media and marketing, and many other components surrounding a business and its digital presence. So please keep an eye out for this. I'd like to also briefly mention the confidential phone crisis line for Victorian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, launched by the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service. The service is for Indigenous people and families who feel they may need to have a yarn with someone about their wellbeing. This 1-800 helpline is a statewide social and emotional wellbeing service. The helpline, whose number is 1-800 959563, will operate 7 days a week from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. and you'll find their contact information on the screen throughout today's webinar. And finally, there are plenty of webinars on various topics available on the Kinaway Facebook and YouTube channels, so please feel free to jump on at any stage and make yourself familiar with the content. Along with the webinars and support packages mentioned, Kinaway are still offering the usual forms of business support for our members. So if you feel you may need assistance or support of any kind, please feel free to get into contact with the team here at Kinaway. For this afternoon's webinar, we're pleased to have our guests joining us presenting on the treaty journey so far. Aboriginal people in Victoria have never ceded sovereignty and have long called for treaty with government. Treaties are essential in recognising historic wrongs. It is not about blame, rather it is about declaring the facts and attempting to right the wrongs. To present on this topic, we're delighted to have Jaden Duran and Levi Powell from First Peoples Assembly of Victoria joining us. We feel it's an important topic to be shared, and NAIDOC Week presents a fantastic opportunity to have both Jaden and Levi presenting on such a webinar. For those tuning in, please feel free to post any questions or comments on the Kinaway Facebook and YouTube channels, as I'll be joining Jaden and Levi as they answer any questions we may receive throughout. We hope you really enjoy this afternoon's webinar, and as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. I'd like to welcome Jaden and Levi this afternoon's webinar.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
You're welcome. Just quickly, I won't take up too much time, but I'll start with yourself, Jaden. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, where you're from, your story, and your role at First Peoples Assembly of Victoria.
Yeah, Candid. Thanks for that acknowledgement of country as well, James. So I'm a proud Whadjuk Noongar man from Perth and moved over to Melbourne late last year. So a bit of my background is worked in corporate affairs and Aboriginal affairs for Wesfarmers for a couple of years before moving over to Melbourne to be the Aboriginal Affairs Advisor for Kmart. And coming across here, didn't really know anyone. So, try to connect with community and get involved, and saw a role like this actually pop up and thought, I'd be stupid not to throw my hat in the ring, and was lucky enough to be successful. So I'm the engagement lead at the First Peoples Assembly of Victoria, and I just manage the engagement project officers that we have on board, such as Levi. So, thank you for having us today.
It's our pleasure. Thanks, Jaden. We're really excited to have you for today's webinar. And Levi, I'll give it to you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, your story, and a bit about your role at First Peoples Assembly Victoria?
No worries. Thanks for having us, James. Yeah, it's good to be with you today. But yeah, I guess I'm proud Yorta Yorta man of the Yalupna clan. My role is I'm an EPO, Engagement Project Officer for the Northeast region. So still fairly new to the role, starting sort of mid September. And yeah, it's my background's really in Aboriginal health. So I've worked in Aboriginal health for about 10 years, and recently I've made the shift over to AFL Victoria. Yeah, and then unfortunately due to COVID, challenges with that, on a bit of a stand down period. So seeing the opportunity to come across to Treaty and yeah, same as Jaden, mad not to put my hand up in a role like this, something so historic to be a part of. So really enjoying it, and yeah, it's been great to engage with community and getting out even over Zoom and yeah, just engaging with everyone, having yarns about this topic.
Great. Thanks, Levi. Again, I just want to thank you both for joining us today. I won't take up too much more of your time. I know you have a really interesting presentation to give, so I'd like to throw it across to you both for today's webinar.
Thanks, mate. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off, we're just going to basically talk about what treaty is. And very basically, it's a formal legally binding agreement between two or more parties. So in this context, the traditional owners and the state government, being Victoria, agreeing to go forward with a treaty. I guess in terms of the Assembly has made progress, and one of their first things was they were able to decide there would be two parts to the treaty. So that'd be first a state-based treaty, but also multiple treaties within Victoria, within different clans or whatnot. So, yeah.
Thanks, Levi. And I hope that slide comes up pretty well for you guys on screen. So, yeah, as Levi mentioned, we're going for a state-based treaty and also multiple different local treaties. But, how do we actually get there? So, this process has been in the works for a good couple of years now. So as you can see from our timeline there, we've all the way back in February 2016, there was a self-determination forum held, and this really brought together the voices of the Victorian Aboriginal community together to start talking about treaty and what this or could actually mean for community. And then as you can see down there, there was a few more different forums. Then a statewide forum in May of 2016. And then in July of 2016, there was the creation of the Aboriginal Treaty Working Group, which then led to, consultation beginning from November 2016, with then another forum to be held in December, and then all the way through to when the Assembly was actually open from November 2017. 2018, when the Victorian Treaty Advancement Commission was created under Commissioner Jill Gallagher, which then led to the creation of the First Peoples Assembly, of where Levi and I are working now on progressing the treaty process for community here in Victoria. So just going past that, this is how we are currently structured. So at the moment, we've split Victoria into 5 different regions. So we have the Northwest, the Southwest, the Northeast, the Southeast, and then the Melbourne Metropolitan region. At this moment, we're currently made up of 32 different members, all proud traditional owners of country in Victoria. And the way we've split that up is that we have 21 reserve seat holders in the Assembly. So these are, 21 general seat holders. So these general seats, as you can see here, indicated by the blue dots, generally elected members. So a person in community can, throughout the election process that was held in 2019, could put their hand up to be a part of the First Peoples Assembly, and then community could vote on who they wanted to represent them. So we have 21 members that make up the First Peoples Assembly through that way, and then also we have 12 reserve seat holders. So reserve seat holders are for the registered Aboriginal parties that are currently in Victoria. And here is a map that shows those registered Aboriginal parties. So the 11 groups that we have, Barinji Gadjin, the First Peoples of the Middle O'Malley, the Dja Dja Wurrung clans, Aboriginal Corporation, the Eastern Mar Aboriginal Corporation, the Wadawurrung Aboriginal Corporation, the Gunditj Meering, Tangaron Land and Waters Council, the Gunai Kurnai Land and Waters Council, the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung Cultural Heritage Aboriginal Corporation, and then also the Boonwurrung Land Council. So they are our reserve seat holders in the Assembly.
Thanks, Jaden. So as you can see, there's a bit of a graph on how the internal membership structure sits. So as Jaden was saying, there are 31 elected members, or 31 members, including reserved as well. So from those 31 members, they elected a board of 9. Is that right, Jaden?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
9 board members, and
yep.
and also elected 2 co-chairs. So we'll go through a little bit through the regions, and you can see a little bit who has been elected from the regions. And at the top of those lists, you can see the board members who were elected. We have Arnie Geraldine, Atkinson and Marcus Stewart, who are the co-chairs, and fortunately for me, they're both within the northeast region, so I'm going to be working with them really closely. For people that are viewing as well, you can, if you're in the metro region, you can see the members who have been elected in your area that you can reach out to if you want to talk anything treaty.
Yeah, thankfully, but I think that's a good point. So if anyone is listening and wondering, who exactly might be my members in the regions that I can reach out to and have a yarn with, they're quite there. And if there is anyone that wants to get in contact and wants to know some of those details, such as emails, just let the guys know and in the comments or private message them, and we'll get those details over to you, because the members, they want to hear from the community about all your thoughts and how you guys think the treaty process is going, and some of your thoughts on some of the work that we're currently doing, which we'll speak to you guys a little bit about shortly. So here's some of the stuff that we're currently working on at the moment. So the way it's structured for our work streams is we have 6 different committees that we're working on. So 3 are from the Advancing the Treaty Process Act from 2018. So they are the Self-Determination Fund, the Treaty Negotiation Framework, and the Treaty Authority. And then we also have as well the Elders' Voice, the Cultural Governance Committee, and then also the new Truth-Telling Process, which we'll touch on shortly. So first and foremost, the Self-Determination Fund. What exactly is that? The Self-Determination Fund will help traditional owners to negotiate treaties on equal standing. Once we get to a point in time when we can negotiate treaties, we want, community to be able to be on equal standing with the state to go into these meetings and have the capacity and, equal standing to negotiate those treaties together with the state. And then the Treaty Negotiation Framework, this is, if you think about it, it's a bit of the rule, like what is the actual rules of the game as such. So this is quite a big topic that we're currently doing, some work on at the moment around, what can actually be within a framework, what can we actually put into treaties. Over the coming new year, over the Christmas period and into the new year, we'll be doing a lot of work on, what does community actually want to be able to go into the treaties, and what can they actually negotiate with the state. And then the Treaty Authority, if you can go back to thinking of it, it's a bit like an umpire. So they'll be the independent umpire within the treaty process. So if there was to be, a breakdown between a traditional owner group and the state when negotiating, they can step in to be that umpire that helps move along the process or figure out ways that they can progress this. And then the elders' voice, in our communities, elders was one of the most important pieces of our community, and we're trying to at the moment establish an elders' voice committee that will actually help guide us with the Assembly's work, and provide that cultural strength from the elders to the Assembly members, and progress that forward. And we've only recently just done some consultations on this, and it's been quite interesting to see how community feels that we should be doing this process. And going into the new year after Christmas, it'll be great to, once we can actually get out and start talking to elders about how this process looks to them, will be great. Then also the Cultural Governance Committee, which Levi sits on. So the purpose of this is, are we operating in a culturally safe way? And looking at the organisation of itself, are we working in the culturally safe way? Are we doing things that culturally strengthen us as community within the treaty process? And I think, Levi, if you just want to touch on anything there, mate, about how you find the Cultural Governance Committee and what it actually means to you, because you're they're in their committee meetings.
Yeah, it's been a big learning curve for me personally, and I find myself really privileged to be able to sit on a committee like that and really learn from the conversations that happen within that committee and some of the members that are involved there. So I sit back, really listen to what they're saying, and then from those yarns we go out and do the consultation with community, and then to be able to feed that back has been some good dialogue. It's been really enjoyable for me personally.
No, thanks for that, Levi. And then we've recently added the truth telling. So that was quite a new addition, where the members called for a truth telling process to begin at our June chamber meeting, and then from a great response from the state to after a few days come out and say, we're going to agree to this with you, and to be one of the first of its kind in Australia to happen, was a great response from the state. So there's a lot of work been going into our truth telling committee at the moment, and what that looks like is we don't really know yet, because we're still trying to connect with community and figure out what is it actually that community wants to get out of this truth telling process. And the members, and also the engagement team and the rest of the organisation are doing a lot of work in that space to, be able to find out from community what it is that they want included, and actually, to be heard from that process. So there's just some of the things that we've been working on, and like Levi said, it's been quite hard for us as an engagement team working in this space during COVID. We've been we've gone from a relatively small team of 2 people looking after the entire state to now having about 8 of us on board. It's just been a tremendous effort from the team, and from being able to, not have a face-to-face conversation and sit at a table with the aunts and uncles and just have a yarn and a cuppa, to trying to get everyone online. It's been quite a challenge, which I think we've been able to do pretty well. We've had a few great stats come out through our annual report around, we've reached about 43,000 people since May, really, since we've been in lockdown, with our Facebook Lives and phone calls, emails, and video conferences. We've just tried to, keep as much contact as we can throughout the COVID period. So once we do, like we are now, starting to ease of restrictions, we can actually get out and hit the ground running to be able to, progress the work that we've been trying to do and accelerate at a pace that COVID hasn't allowed us. So I hope you guys will be seeing us out and about quite a bit in the near future. I know Levi up in Shep there, he's been out and about already with his shirt on, and people having conversations already and catching up with elders. So it's been really great to see. And I'm now just hand it back over to Levi.
Yeah, so I guess we'll touch on the electoral roll as part of the treaty. So, to be eligible to vote in the next Assembly election in 2022, you must be a traditional custodian of Victoria or an Aboriginal person that's lived in Victoria for at least 3 of the last 5 years. One of the big things that the Assembly is leading way in with the election is giving our youth a voice, and so being able to have 16 years or older to be able to vote, shows we're doing, or the Assembly, is there's a tangible, putting youth there to give a voice. So it's been a great part. So any youth out there that might be watching, just know that if you're 14, 15, you'll be able to vote in the next election. So if you want to enrol to vote, there's our details. So just jump on to our website and you can enrol through that.
Yeah, and we can provide that link as well. So that's all on our website as well, guys. So check us out. There's our website there, and there's a lot more other information there as well. If you want to interested in a particular different work stream or just what's been going on around the place, we sign up to our newsletter as well. So just by having the electoral roll there and the amount of schools that we've touched base with online over COVID, it's been great to see a lot of the kids get really excited around, I can actually vote and, be a part of this process at 16. That's pretty cool. I'm only 16, what do you want to hear from me for, sort of thing. But, it's really great to hear some of these kids and what, some of their aspirations would be. And we've already seen a few already put their hand up for when some of the members potentially come off in the next couple of years on the Assembly, that they're going to put their hand up and want to be voted in from their community. So it's really great to see. But that's it from us, guys, in terms of our presentation. But I think we'll just go to questions now, unless Levi, you've got anything else?
I just want to touch on, in terms of the strategy as an engagement team, that because we can have 16-year-olds vote, 16 and over, a big focus for us, particularly early next year, is engaging with our schools and educating, bringing them up to speed in the conversation. So that's, this treaty is about the youth, and it's going to be for them going into the future. So definitely looking forward to getting out and about, with in mind the restrictions easing hopefully enough for us to get out into the schools, and look forward to doing that.
Definitely, and I'd just also like to add, if anyone there is watching and is quite interested, we love having a yarn, and me and Levi will come anywhere and really just have a yarn about treaty and what we're doing, and we just really want to hear everyone's thoughts and their feedback on the work that we're doing, because this is quite an instrumental thing that's going to change it's got to be a drastic change for the community here, and we want everyone involved. So if there's any interest, and you want to reach out to us, definitely, and we can sort something out. But I think we've got a few questions now. I think we're able to take down the slideshow, fellas, and just get into it. I think what's one there from Greg. Here's one here for you, Levi. Kick us off, brother. What does NAIDOC Week mean to you, and what does this year's theme, always was, always will be, mean?
NAIDOC, to me, it's always a week that you look forward to. Circle that in your calendar. Very big weeks, and this week has been no different, particularly for us in terms of some of our engagements. So, everyone's keen to have a yarn and catch up, and unfortunately we can't do it in person this year, but looking forward to hopefully next year getting back to normal and doing it proper way. But no, it's particularly the theme. I think it's a really strong theme. Always was, always will be, and it's a really strong one. That it's been a strong term for a long time with Aboriginal people, and it's not sure. You want to touch on anything, Jaden?
No, I just like to agree with you, bro. I think the biggest thing for me, it's a bit weird, I think, for it to be in November for one. Still adjusting to that, if we be in November, but definitely miss being back home and just seeing all the mob together and celebrating, and really just coming together as one and having that celebration. Really missing it this year. We've had the online stuff, but definitely can't wait to, I definitely think it'll be a big one next year, and it'll be quite good to be around the community again. And this year's theme, always was, always will be. It's like you said, brother. It's powerful. It's always been talked about in community with us, and I think it's quite an embodiment. It's we've been here for 80,000 plus years, and it's always was, always will be Aboriginal land. And this treaty, I think, can really showcase that and start to learn from the elders of how they cared for country and started to and all their practices that they can teach, and hopefully the treaty can can capture that to another level. And yeah, definitely, I think it's a really good thing for the year.
Thanks, guys. I'll just jump in there before we take the next question. So no, that's all right, mate. It's all right. So I just want to thank you both for that presentation. We did have a few questions that will come through. So yeah, we'll just spend the next few minutes, just kind of rattling off any questions that we might have received. So this next one is from Kaya. She says, "Hi, Levi and Jaden. I understand there is a community consultation on what we want to achieve in a treaty. From these community consultations, what have we determined to be the key themes that we want to achieve?" I'll give that one to you, Jaden.
Yeah, so I think we've had quite a few different community consultations on very different topics. So we've had community consultations on the elders' voice, on recognition pathways. So how do we get unrecognised groups onto the assembly? We've had consultations on what should be in a treaty negotiation framework. What treaty should we do? Treaties or both? It's quite a complex question in that sense of, we've done quite a different topics, and what we want to achieve in a treaty, I think, is still being worked out in that sense. We're still trying to get little aspects of it all together before the big picture, I think, comes to light. But from what we've seen so far, there's quite a lot of things that community want in, and there's some really strong themes coming through of, self-determination, empowerment, and really looking at that, that next generation as the key. So, Levi, you got anything else to add there, bro?
Yeah, all those things that you touched on, but also I believe there's going to be a lot of consultation around the truth-telling process as well. So, all the different work streams are really important, but I believe the truth-telling one is going to be a really big one. No truth, no treaty without truth. So that's a big piece of work that Lisa Thorpe, who is a truth-telling worker for the state, and there'll be some difficult conversations. There'll be some robust conversations around that, but such an important one as part of going forward and having non-Indigenous and Indigenous people healing together and moving forward.
Sure. Thanks, Levi. The next question that we had come through, it should pop up any second now, from Graham. And he asks, in order to achieve a national treaty, do we need all state-based treaties to be achieved first, or can it be done without buy-in from all states? Levi, let you answer that one.
It's a bit of a tough one. I guess what we can focus on is what we're doing within the state. I don't think we can really control what other states do. So, I guess a big step is seeing how, being the first ones in Australia to be able to do this in Victoria. I guess all eyes are on us and how we do it. And if we can, all things are going well so far, and I believe that others are looking to see how we are conducting business, and then hopefully it'll start that snowball effect.
Sure.
Yeah, I think just like to add as well to that, James. Like Levi said, we're a brand new organisation. We're not even a year old yet in terms of the First Peoples Assembly of Victoria. So within that time, though, Queensland and the Northern Territory, I believe, have started to begin their own conversations around this, around what a potential voice can be for their communities up there. So I agree with Levi. I think it's a hard one, but I think the states, especially Victoria, and Levi said it right. We can only control here what we can in Victoria, but if we can do it, well, and the other states are following and still in their own processes, I think it says a big thing around why if the national treaty isn't started yet, then why hasn't that question been asked if all the states are starting to progress down this path?
Sure. Thanks, Jaden, and thanks Levi for that one, and thank you, Graham, for the question. This next one is from Haley, and she asks, I understand Australia is one of the only Commonwealth countries to not have a treaty. Why is that? I'll give that one to you, Jaden.
Yeah, thanks, Haley. I think that's quite a difficult question to answer. I think, personal opinion, I think, I don't think Australia's had the leadership to go into that field of treaty with, the Aboriginal people. And yeah, I think, sorry, just need a drink of water on that one.
No worries.
Yeah, I think, I just don't think Australia's had the leadership, like I said, to go down that path of a treaty with the Aboriginal people. But, back in 2017, they had the Uluru Statement from the Heart. And, there was 3 key things that were called for within that process, and that was voice, treaty, and truth. And, as a state of Victoria, it's pretty proud to say that, Victoria's started all 3 of those processes. They have the voice, so they've got the First People's Assembly of Victoria. They've got the treaty started. They're working on, what a treaty can be and what it can do, and how it can work for communities here. And then also the truth, which is started, like Levi mentioned, with Lisa Thorpe, our Truth Telling Engagement Project Officer, leading the charge on that with our great team that we have in policy, and just the awesome 31 members that we have as well supporting the cause. So I think in that respect, it's definitely a hard question, but in terms of Victoria, we're quite there in the sense of, what the actual Uluru Statement of the Heart's called for. We're the only state to be working on all 3.
Absolutely.
Really, unfortunately, we don't have a treaty at this point. And as I said, we can only control what we can, and we can't control that it hasn't happened yet. But I think we're in a really good position now, just to look forward and make sure that we get this right. But unfortunately we don't, and it hasn't happened earlier. But I'm really grateful that the state has agreed 2 treaties with Aboriginal people in Victoria now.
Sure. Thanks, Levi, and thanks, Ali, for the question. We have 2 more questions that have come through this afternoon. The first one is from Mel. She asks, so you consult with community. Can I participate in contributing to what I'd like achieved through treaty? Levi, you have that one.
That's very easy, and absolutely. We'll have our details. You can reach out to us. At the moment, we've got a few different work streams that we're really focusing on, and we're doing consultation on a few different pieces at one time at the moment. So very busy time for us as an engagement team with our consultations, but always happy to yarn with community, and if you've got views, definitely reach out.
Jade, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think Levi captured it all. Like we said, we'd love to talk to everyone. So our details are there, and just reach out to us. We'd love to hear what you think and how that might how you'd just like to have a yarn with us about it all.
But even to add to that, I'm not sure, Mel, if you're Indigenous or not, but regardless, we want to talk to all people. So non-Indigenous people, if you want to yarn about it, reach out, more than happy. There's been a lot of, I know this week we've had, due to NAIDOC week, some non-Indigenous organisations reach out to want to have a yarn and get that conversation going. So it's been really great.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point, Levi. Thanks. And this final one's from Kim, and she asked, thanks, Levi and Jaden, and happy NAIDOC. With the community consultation, do I need to be from the area, or can I contribute to treaty in Victoria, even though I'm from Western New South Wales? Jaden.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. I think, definitely with the community consultations, we're more focusing on, people from Victoria. But would love to, if you do have any thoughts on that, just please reach out to us. We're more than happy to have a yarn and catch up with that. But in terms of our community consultations, we're more so focused on the Victorian community. But hopefully, Kim, sooner rather than later, you're contributing to, a New South Wales one, and they're working towards that as well. So, definitely.
And I'm not too sure if you live in Victoria still, or if you're still in New South Wales, but we sort of touched on in the presentation that if you lived in Victoria for 3 of the last 5 years, you can absolutely have a say in a vote and be part of the process.
Sure. Wonderful. Well, thanks everyone that submitted their questions. I believe that was the final one for this afternoon. So I'd just like to thank, again, these people that submitted questions, people who tuned in, and especially I want to thank both Levi and Jaden as well for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much, James, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure. For everyone that tuned in, it was a bit of a short and succinct one for a Thursday afternoon. So we hope you all enjoyed. And again, don't forget to keep an eye out for our upcoming webinars. If you do wish to attend any of these, please jump onto the Kinaway website to register your interest. And again, if you wish to catch up on the previous panel discussions or webinars, they are available on the Kinaway Facebook and YouTube channels where you'll be able to access them. Until then, don't forget to leave a like on today's video, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to receive Kinaway updates. Thank you once again to all who have joined us, and we'll catch you all very soon.